Today, in history, we leave the land behind and step onto the sea. Because on this day, the kind of battle happened that doesn't just sink ships, it sinks certainty, it sinks pride, it sinks a whole dynasty. In the eyes of the world, this is the naval battle that sank a dynasty. Now picture it, before the fighting starts. The water looks calm, almost innocent. The horizon is wide and quiet. But under that calm, there's tension, like a rope pulled tight. Two fleets moving toward each other, rows of ships, creaking wood, snapping sails, heavy cannons, sharp metal, and men who know that the sea doesn't forgive mistakes, and above all of it, a dynasty watching. Because a dynasty isn't only bloodlines and crowns, a dynasty is reputation. It's the belief that their power is permanent, that their flag will always return to port. But on this day, that belief met the ocean. At first, everything looks controlled. Signals go up, drums beat, orders travel across decks, carried by shouting voices and fast feet. And then, the first shots, not one, but many. Thunder rolling across water, smoke rising, thick and gray, the smell of salt, mixed with fire and fear. In naval war, the enemy isn't only the other fleet. It's the wind, the current, the visibility, the timing. One wrong turn, and your strongest ship becomes a floating target. One wrong command, and your own formation traps you. Now imagine the dynasty's fleet, proud, polished, confident. The kind of fleet that has won before and expects to win again. They believe numbers will carry them, prestige will protect them, tradition will guide them. But the sea doesn't care about tradition. The sea cares about angles, and then the turning point arrives. Maybe it's a shift in the wind, just enough to favor the other side. Maybe it's a commander who sees a gap and drives straight into it. Maybe it's a trap, set hours earlier, when no one noticed. Whatever it is, suddenly, the battle changes shape. Ships collide, lines break. Smoke blinds captains, flags become hard to read, and in the confusion, the dynasty's fleet starts to lose control. And this is the moment when a dynasty begins to sink, even before the ships do, because once your navy breaks, your empire feels it everywhere. Ports become vulnerable, trade routes become dangerous, allies start to doubt, enemies start to smile. A dynasty can survive a lost skirmish on land, but a shattered fleet is a message broadcast to the world. We can bleed. Now, let's talk about what it means to sink a dynasty. It doesn't always mean the dynasty ends that day. Sometimes it continues, for years, even decades. Kings still sit on thrones, palaces still stand, but after a battle like this, the story changes. Before, they were unstoppable. After, they are mortal, and history is ruthless with mortal dynasties. Because once people stop believing, the collapse begins. Taxes become harder to collect. Rebellions become braver. Rivals become bolder. Even loyal generals start thinking about their own survival. That's the real sinking. Not just wood and iron, but authority. And the sea makes it dramatic. A ship doesn't lose power quietly. It lists, it breaks, it burns, it disappears under waves, and takes men and myths down with it. You can almost feel it. The moment the flagship goes under, the moment the standard falls, the moment survivors look back and realize the ocean has swallowed what they thought was eternal, and afterward there's silence, not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind, the kind that follows shock. Wreckage floats, smoke thins, the wind returns like nothing happened, and the water keeps moving as if it's erasing evidence. But history doesn't erase it. History writes it down as a turning point, because naval battles aren't only about ships. They're about control, supply, communication, confidence, and the future. So on this day, remember this: a dynasty can be built with victories and ceremony and fear, but it can be broken in a single afternoon by wind, by timing, and by one fleet that refused to back down. That's why this battle mattered, not because the sea was loud, but because the consequences were louder. And when the last cannon fell silent, the dynasty didn't just lose ships, it lost the spell. It lost the illusion that it could never sink. And from that moment on, the world looked at that flag differently, not as fate, but as something that could